Hi, good morning. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. We'll wait just a few minutes to get a few more people on the call and also to tune in with our fellow dietitian. Awesome. Well, while we're waiting on some people to sign on, I just wanted to go ahead and say good morning. Again, thank you for joining us. My name is Leslie Knapp. I'm Assistant Director of Student Nutrition Services and also Panthers Pantry. Excited to be here today. I hope everyone had a slightly relaxing weekend. I know it's finals week. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome. I was just saying, happy start of finals week. I know it can be a very stressful time, very busy time for a lot of us students. So one of the things we wanted to do today was talk a little bit about how we can stress less around food and also use nutrition to support some of your efforts around academics this week. So we'll get started on that in just a minute. I'm going to have Panthers Pantry join us, which will be Melissa Pearson, our registered dietitian. She'll be signing on shortly, and we'll talk a little bit about some tips and tricks to help with nutrition support over this busy time. Also, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section, and we will definitely answer those. We love to have them. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to give it about, actually, I'm just going to start jumping in, and hopefully Melissa will sign on shortly. Well, again, some things to stress less about food, some tips and tricks that we can think about. One, I know emotions can tend to be high, and especially when stress is high, sometimes it can shift our eating habits, right? So occasionally we could actually eat less, right? Because we're stressed, we might miss meals from a busy schedule as well. Conversely, it might cause us to overconsume or even increase cravings towards some of those more indulgent food items. At its core, there's nothing super wrong with either. However, if we start going long periods without eating, say more than about 4 hours, the brain starts getting very depleted of energy. And what happens with that is we can have an increased intensity of emotions around stress, right, and those type of things. And also, it can decrease our efforts towards concentration and focus, which makes it a little less productive for studying and doing well on those finals. So a big recommendation here to stress less around food is making sure to eat regularly throughout the day. Oh, it looks like Melissa joined, and we'll just wait a second while we add her to the call. Here we go. Sorry for turning sideways. Hello. Thanks for everyone joining us. Hey, Melissa. Let me turn my camera. Am I one way and you're another? There we go.
There we go.
Ooh, I was trying to do sideways for a wider view. Well, welcome, Melissa. I was just starting to yap a little bit about the benefits of eating regularly, especially to reduce stress, decreased energy concentration with not eating regularly.
Yeah.
But let me stop. Let's start from the top. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? I kind of did an intro to begin, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the attendance and all that.
Awesome. I'm Melissa. Hey, y'all. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I'm also a yoga teacher. We will be having a yoga, small plug, we will be having a yoga event tomorrow on Be Well Panthers, Instagram Live, or at the Student West Center. You can find that information on PIN. But I work with Leslie in the Student Nutrition Services. We counsel the students on eating. So if you are interested in nutrition services, let us know. We got your back.
Yes. And I'll introduce myself again just for those just now signing on. I'm Leslie Knapp, Assistant Director of Student Nutrition Services and Panthers Pantry. Just a quick tip or housekeeping for attending the event, you can check in using your PIN attendance to get those pounce rewards. After the event, we'll go ahead and post it on Dining's IG Live TV, and then I'll have the link in there for attendance. So go ahead and just click on that if you want to get your pounce rewards for tuning in today. And again, thank you for joining us. Before we jump in again, if you have any questions, go ahead and just drop it in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, goal of today is to offer you some tips and tricks to help reduce stress around eating, especially during this busy finals time. And also, conversely, how can you use nutrition to support a little bit of your needs mentally, right, and help reducing stress during that finals time. So Melissa, as I was saying, I was talking a little bit about how when we go longer times without eating and we're less energized through food, it can affect our concentration and focus. And conversely, for some of us, when we're more stressed, we tend to overconsume or maybe even choose to indulge or crave some of those more indulgent food items. So on that note, what are some tips and ideas you have around ways that we can support this kind of in-between of maybe not eating or overeating during busy times?
Yeah, so a couple of thoughts. First, we have to distinguish between what is under eating versus what may feel like stress eating, when really it's just our bodies responding to the fact that we haven't had much to eat all day. And then all of a sudden it hits us like, you know, something super instinctual, like a dinosaur, like, oh my gosh, I need to eat something right now, or I'm going to go crazy. Mm-hmm. So we need to first like pause and notice, like, what have I eaten today? Have I had enough to eat? Because what could feel like stress eating maybe just means that that's our body's natural response for trying to fuel ourselves. So having something to eat every 3 to 4 hours, a meal or a snack, even if we're not hungry, because when we're stressed, our hunger cues can be suppressed. So making sure that we're having something every 3 to 4 hours. So when we get to that point, that we're trying to avoid getting to that point of overhunger. And that's when we typically tend to gravitate towards those comfort foods, right? The greasy, sweet, salty things that we gravitate towards underneath those times of stress or underneath those times of being overly hungry.
Yes.
And then on the flip side, if we do pause and we realize, yeah, I've been eating all day, like this is definitely stress eating, think about, you know, why you're gravitating towards that food. Is it because you need a break in your work? Or is it because like you're actually, maybe you didn't have enough fiber, maybe you didn't have enough protein? So pause. And if it is just a break, a lot of the times we gravitate towards things to eat because we just need a break from the computer. And if that's what we're needing, maybe we just take a walk the stairs, take a couple of deep breaths, do some exercise, take a break from that. Maybe we utilize that as our break as opposed to food.
Yes. And I think on ways that we can kind of apply these things directly, right? Making sure, as Melissa mentioned, that you have something to eat every 3 to 4 hours. What we would recommend, whether it's a snack or a meal, some key nutrients to include when you are eating. Fiber is a big one. So fiber really helps with sustained energy support and also helps with a little bit more sustained satiety and fullness. So some fiber foods and quick, easy ones that you can include. Obviously, like nuts, fruits, vegetables, those are all great sources of fiber. And easy to grab and take with you, right? Of course, we do have some of like our grains that we could include, anything whole wheat, or whole grain, like 2 slices of bread within your sandwich. That can be a great fiber source, right? Also things like whole grain crackers. Those are wonderful, easy to grab and go. Another key nutrient that can be really helpful to help promote fullness and satiety and also help reduce that extreme hunger is protein. It's a nice, slowly digesting nutrient. So some protein sources included in your snacks and meals. Of course, our animal proteins, you know, like a deli turkey or a chicken sandwich, something like that. But also things like nuts and seeds again, beans, legumes, right? Snacking on edamame, and even our dairy products have a little bit of protein in them as well. So that's a great tip. Melissa, what are some other tips that like are tangible that we could kind of apply in with this reduced stress around food?
Yeah, I would say with those, like having kind of your go-to items and having them, if they're shelf stable, making sure that, well, first of all, making sure that they're shelf stable. And if they're not, making sure we have a cooler pack or some sort of lunch bag that's insulated, and having them in our bags around our computer so we could snack on those when we're hungry and when we feel like we, you know, to remind us to eat. Some of us just kind of get in that hyper focus zone working on a paper and we forget to take breaks. So having that in your around would be really good. Even setting an alarm to remind you, okay, it's time to take a break for lunch. It's time to fuel my body and my mind, right? So having that, those go-to things in your car, in your bag, around your computer, setting an alarm, just as reminders to take a moment and pause.
Yes. I think that's something that when we have these busier times, especially during finals week, we have a lot of balls in the air, so to speak. It can be hard to plan ahead, especially just the next hour or 2 hours or afternoon even, right? So one tip that might work well is taking about 2 minutes, 5 minutes in the morning, even maybe while you're getting ready or just waking up, to think about, what do I have going on today? And are there a couple of things I can grab, take with me, or even set out before I start my work? That 5 minutes can be a game changer, making sure you have the nutrition support that you need, not only to help reduce that intensity of emotions when we're starved and we're not eating, but also to support nutrition needs for concentration, focus, and those things you need to do well academically.
Yeah, and Leslie, you bring up a really good point to think about, like, planning ahead, because there is so much, like, with stress, we get something called decision fatigue. And we're just like, if I have to make one more decision on my life, I'm like, I can't even like bring myself to make a decision. And so having those things that are already there, that are already set, that are already prepped, takes away that stress. And you're just like, oh, this is what I'm having for my snack. This is what I'm having for my lunch.
Yes, that can be a huge ease. And I don't want to like even cause more stress by saying you need to like plan out your whole week or meal plan or anything like that. But even just a couple of the day, like, what are a couple snacks I can have? Where can I eat today? Right? That can be a really quick and easy option to save yourself a little bit of this decision fatigue, but also support yourself so well. I'm thinking too, Melissa, besides just food, there's other things that we can do to help nourish the body, hydration being one, right?
Absolutely.
What are some great ideas around ways that we can make sure we hydrate even with a lot going on? Because again, we can get in the zone and kind of forget, oh my goodness, I haven't even drank today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that thirst signal and that hunger signal can sometimes get crossed if we're dehydrated. So definitely wanting to stay hydrated, not only for that, but also to support our brain, right? We are like, our brain is like full of fluid. We want to support that. We want to support our muscles, our joints, everything. Digestion, yes, absolutely. So I mean, first thing, you've got to have it around you. If you don't have it around you, you're not going to drink it. Right? So having that water bottle, having that big glass of water with you, it would be best if you had a water bottle to carry it around, so you always remember. And you can't just carry it, you have to remember to drink it too. Setting an alarm, there's a ton of hydration apps that you can do. But again, if it beeps, you have to not just push ignore, you have to drink the water. You can flavor your water with some fruit, some lemon juice. Cucumber and basil is delicious. Cucumber mint. You can put in any herbal teas that don't have sugar or caffeine. You can cold fuse them in your water to give it a little bit of a flavor. Or you can just think about, like, okay, this is about 20 ounces I need to drink about 4 of these in a day. I'm going to make a goal to drink 2 of these before 3 and then 2 of these after 3. So kind of like challenging yourself. And I know that there's some water bottles that have that actually have like the time of how much you're supposed to drink.
Yes. And
So
just
awesome.
to plug, on Thursday, the 9th, I think, we will be doing a De-Stress Fest live event with Be Well and some other departments on campus at, what time is it? 11, I think. Just kidding. 1 o'clock, maybe. I'll make sure I post that. But we'll be giving away those water bottles with some of those markings. So if you want to come by Thursday the 9th, I'll post that on our dining just so.
I think it's 11 to 1.
I think it's 11 to 1 too, and it is at Veterans Hall, I believe. Yes, yes. I'll get that information to everyone listening. Sorry for the misinformation, but we'll definitely get that posted.
Okay.
So if you're just tuning in or have been listening, I know we've been kind of rambling a little bit, but here's some takeaways that I'm hoping everybody can take 1 or 2 things today to apply to their week. 1, making sure to try to plan for eating in the day, right? What snacks can you have on hand or what meals? Even if you're going to go out to eat, that's cool, but just make that decision and set a time so you're having that frequency of eating throughout the day. I might also recommend planning like a quick grocery list, right? You don't have to do a full haul, but even stopping at the grocery store and getting a couple pieces of fruit, right? A couple cheese sticks, something easy to grab. That can be a really great quick planning option to support your week. Secondly, we talked about having food available, right? I think one of the biggest barriers for us when we get busy is I don't have anything nearby, so I'm just going to skip it, right? So maybe setting out a couple snacks in your workspace, throwing in a granola bar, something into your backpack, having something on hand so that you're not going those long periods or more than about 4 hours without having something to eat. The other big themes that we talked about were fiber and protein. Whenever you can include both those nutrients together, that's a great way to support mental I don't want to say mental health, although it does support that. More mental function, there's where I'm going with it, for concentration and focus, right? And also helping with that fullness, satiety that the body needs as well. And then lastly, we highlighted the importance of hydration, making sure to sip continuously throughout the day. One tip about that, starting right when you wake up is a great time to begin hydrating instead of waiting till kind of later in the day, right? We tend to dehydrate more when we wait longer. So maybe starting just sipping water at the beginning of your day and then aiming for X bottles or whatever glasses throughout the day. Is there anything I missed, Melissa, that we'd want to include?
Yeah, I would just say, just one thing about eating out. Well, a couple things about eating out. Number 1, if you are eating out, keep the My Plate in mind, right? Half our plate, fruits and vegetables, a quarter of our plate, whole grains, a quarter of our plate, lean protein. You can definitely do this. You can go to Chick-fil-A. You can get a grilled chicken sandwich with, right? The protein is going to be the grilled chicken. The grain is going to be the bun. And then you can get like with our kale salad is really good, and that can be your My Plate, right? Or think about like, if I'm going out to eat, can I order an extra meal or so I can have something for tomorrow? Like kind of planning ahead. I'm going to go to Panera Bread. I'm going to get 2 salads. I'm going to have one right now, one for tomorrow. So thinking about like those My Plate components and thinking about, planning ahead. Can I have half of this for tomorrow, or can I order another meal for tomorrow?
Yeah, make it easy on yourself. I think sometimes we think dining out or going out to a fast food spot is a bad thing to do, when in actuality it is convenient for a reason, right?
Yes.
So when you go, just think about, is there a way I can balance this out a little bit more by choosing maybe a grilled or baked option, right? Or adding a side of vegetables, or maybe even packing a bag of carrots and hummus and having that with a burger or something like that, right? You have the balance there, and we're hitting a great diversion of nutrients there too. I love that. Great tip. All right, cool. Well, I didn't see any questions in the comment section, but I want to thank you all for tuning in. And I hope you got 1 or 2 things that you can apply this week to help make you stress less around food, but also make sure that you're giving yourself the nutrition support that you need to do well on your finals and to study and to do all the things that you have to do. So if you're interested in scheduling a one-on-one with Melissa or I, you can go to our website at nutritionservices.gsu.edu, click the request an appointment link, and it'll take you through a short questionnaire. We can schedule you out. Also, again, for PIN attendance, if you want to get your Pounce rewards for attending today, we'll repost this in our IGTV and have the link there for you to check in for your attendance. And yes, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck on your finals, and we hope you have a great week. And talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye, Melissa.